Hello, it's Monday afternoon, and I'm going to say a few more words about my story. The book we're talking about, and have been talking about all the time here, is Lightning at 200 Durham Street. And I've written a lot of books. Right now, I'm writing my 35th book. And I learn something every day. I've only tried to do YouTube on one book, and that's the book I'm talking about now. And to just sit and talk isn't very exciting for you, the listener. And when you write a book, you kind of write it in pieces anyway. At least I think you do. And I know in my latest book, at the start of it, there were a bunch of things that happened, people that were murdered, bodies that were found. And the way I work, I thought, my goodness, now I'm going to have to tie this all together. How will that happen? Well, I didn't know until I was about 2/3 of the way through the book. But that's my 35th book. And the first book, Lightning at 200 Durham Street, I hadn't written a book before. I hadn't even written a short story before. So the story kind of unfolded. And I think it's a good story. But again, like all stories, there are bits and pieces. Just like in your life, there are bits and pieces. You can make as many plans for your life as you want, but of course, seldom does anything go according to plan. The same thing happens when you're writing a book. And the same thing happens to the characters in your story, I hope, because if it's too orderly, then it's not too real. Well, the last time we talked, Joel and Jay and their families had been out in the bush at the cabin where they'd found the body. And they'd gone out there on Canada's birthday to visit it again and visit it in a much happier frame of mind. The boys were complaining that they'd felt upset about what had happened to them there, and they wanted to revisit it and enjoy their time there. So they did. They had a game of ball, and you know that during that game of ball, they found another piece of evidence, hopefully. So they bagged that bottle up and took it into town, and that's where I'm starting the story today. I'll be reading part of it because I don't remember every word in every one of my 35 books. So it was Monday morning, and Detective O'Neill, had just arrived back from the city of London. He was helping out on the investigation, and when he walked into the chief's office, he said, "Good morning. Hi, is there anything new?" And the chief said, "Well, as a matter of fact, there is something new. I'm glad you dropped in because you can be a courier for me." "Okay, what happened?" The chief says, "Well, you remember I let the Jay and Joel and their families go back out to the bush to have a game of ball. And while they were there, have a picnic as well, and while they were there, they found something. And so now he brought out the bottle and showed it to the Detective O'Neill. He said, "Mr. Franklin brought this in." They found it, and they didn't move it though, but they did mark where it was, and I sent Constable Smith out, and he brought this wine bottle in. But of course, we don't have the ability to test for fingerprints or anything here in the small town police station. So we thought, well, I'll give it to O'Neill when he arrives, and he can take it back to London. So he handed the bottle to O'Neill. O'Neill looked at it and said, "Wow," he says, "that's a very expensive wine. That's a very impressive bottle." And that's what the boys found out there? Well, it was. So O'Neill took the bottle back to London. And a few days later, on Thursday, he returned. And he says, I've come back with some information about the wine bottle. And we did find several good sets of prints on the bottle. They came from two different people. One set of prints belongs to Louise Carter, that's the dead woman, and we have those on file. Unfortunately, the other sets of prints don't match anyone whose prints we have on file. So it appears that there's another person involved. We seem to have trails that lead in a lot of different directions, said Chief Petrovic. It's not a comforting thought. Every time we think we have something that might help us solve this mystery, something else appears and changes things on us a little bit. O'Neill said, that's one thing I like about this case, Chief. It's very challenging. I enjoy a challenging case. The positive thing we can keep in mind, this is Detective O'Neill talking, is that as of yet we have not hit a total dead end. We're still making progress of a type. And anyway, the chief says, well, I hope at some time we're able to find the key to all of this. And then the chief said, I'm going to talk to Whittles today, and I'm going to give the wine bottle to him. He already has 2 mugs and a whiskey bottle from earlier. And somewhere amidst all this, there are traces of poison. But we haven't heard back from the forensic scientist in Toronto yet at that new facility. And maybe if we send more of these things down, we'll get more information. So that was next on the agenda. And Dr. Whittles met with Chief a little later in the day. O'Neill had gone back to London, and now Whittles had more things that he could send down to Dr. Whitehead. And Whittles was actually pleased in a way. He was pleased not that they had the answers he wanted. They still didn't know what the poison was. But at least he had more things that he could send, and this would give more opportunities to Dr. Whitehead in Toronto to test these things out to see just what poisons were involved. So he phoned and he said, I'm asking permission to send you 2 cups, a whiskey bottle, and a wine bottle that were all found near the mystery site. There's still some fluid in the wine bottle, and that might be quite helpful to you. And he said, I can get it down to you in Toronto tomorrow. And Whitehead was pleased because he hadn't had much to work on previously. Maybe this would be the thing that would be the breakthrough in the case. And I'm going to leave the story there today, but things are moving along. We're headed towards some kind of conclusion because now a lot of evidence has been gathered. They know the cause of death was poisoning. I'm certain from this latest information they sent down, they'll have a good chance to find out what the poison was. If they can just find out who those fingerprints belong to, maybe they can find out who the killer of Louise Carter was. In the meantime, I wonder what Joel's going to do about this. Remember, Joel has this special power now. He can talk to Walter, and according to Walter, he should be able to talk to Louise. That hasn't happened yet. Maybe next time. Thank you.